the little star mouse. One quiet, clear night, a star left the sky. It didn't fall, it just decided to go on a little trip. As it flew through the clouds, it started to change. It got smaller, warmer, softer. And then, right on the grass, sat a tiny glowing mouse. He glowed like a nightlight, and his name was Starry. He had soft little paws, a sparkly tail, and the kindest eyes in the whole universe. Starry didn't stay in the field. When Starry jumped onto a pillow, he gently touched the child's cheek with his warm, fuzzy tail. Then he sat close and whispered, "You're doing great. Everything's okay. You're safe. Sleep now." And right away, the child's heart felt calm, and their thoughts felt light like clouds. Even kids who were scared of the dark suddenly felt like someone kind was watching over their sleep. Starry never stayed too long. As soon as sleepy cheeks started to smile, he moved on to the next pillow, the next heart. Every night, he lit tiny invisible lights, not in the sky, but in souls. And that made the whole world a little brighter. Sleep tight, little one. Maybe Starry will visit you tonight. The little watchman on the moon. High above the earth, on the moon itself, lived a tiny watchman named Tick. He was as small as a teaspoon, wore a round hat with a little antenna, and made sure everyone who dreamed under the stars could sleep peacefully. Every night, Tick walked around his moon clocks. He checked if the stars were shining just right, if the comets flew quietly, and if the moon dust stayed in place. He knew that if something went wrong, kids on Earth might have restless dreams. One night, a traveling dust speck flew to him. It came from a comet's tail and glowed with golden light. The speck got stuck in Tick's antenna and didn't know how to get back home. "Don't worry," Tick said. "You're safe here. Rest now, and in the morning I'll help you find the way." He placed the speck in a little moon hole, covered it with a blanket made of starlight, and sat nearby. He whispered a few words in the language of the wind, and the speck fell asleep. Down on Earth, a child was falling asleep too. They suddenly felt a warm light and knew everything would be okay. And Tick, the little watchman, kept checking the moon clocks to make sure dreams stayed sweet. The Little House Under the Dandelion. Under a tall dandelion, with its fluffy white puff swaying in the wind, lived a little frog named Loop. His home was hidden among green leaves, and the roof was a big clover leaf. But the best part, it always smelled like mint, freshness, and a little bit of magic. Loop wasn't just any frog, he was the keeper of quiet. He didn't jump loudly, didn't clap his paws, and even spoke in a soft whisper. All the animals knew. If you wanted to relax, take a break from worries, and just be still, you went to Loop. Every evening, the animals came to his little home. The squirrel brought a pinecone to cuddle. The hedgehog brought crunchy leaves that sounded like stories, and the little owl brought his soft who instead of music. They all settled in, some on moss, some on a soft cloth, some leaning on the wall, and just listened. Loop sat quietly in the corner, making dandelion petal tea. Rain tapped gently on the roof, and it was the perfect sound for falling asleep. No one rushed sleep, no one asked, "Are you sleeping yet?" Because Loop knew the secret. Sleep comes to places that are quiet, warm, and where you can just be yourself. And if one day you hear raindrops and smell mint, maybe you're close to Loop's little home. The Elephant in Pajamas. In the quietest village, where the wind gently touches the grass and stars show up right at 9, lived a big, kind elephant. His name was Boomsy. Every evening, when the sun started to hide behind the hills, Boomsy put on his favorite pajamas, soft, striped, with a little pocket for a candy. Boomsy was a special elephant. He loved reading bedtime stories, but not to anyone else, just to himself. He'd sit on a big pillow, grab a thick book, fix his glasses, and start reading out loud slowly and with feeling. Once upon a time, there was a little bunny, he'd begin, who wanted to become a cloud while reading. Boomsy sometimes yawned, then again, and by page 3, his eyes would close, his ears would droop, and the book would slowly slide from his paw. But the funny thing was, every morning, Boomsy woke up with the book open to page 4. He always knew where he left off. And the best part, he'd wake up with the warmest smile, like he'd seen the rest of the story in his dream. No one knew how it worked. Maybe the stories read themselves to him at night, or maybe his pajamas were a little bit magic. But one thing is for sure, Boomsy's dreams were always sweet. Even the stars, looking at him through the window, seemed to smile a little brighter. Good night. Don't forget your pajamas.